welcome to the transition because, like I said, if you're new or if you've been here for a while, we're not stranded anymore. Been there, done that, letting that shit go. What's up, guys? Welcome to the new and improved Stranded Phase podcast. We are now transitioning to, you guessed it, rich in real life. This is a podcast, whether you're new here or you've been around for a while and you're part of the Stranded family. It was time for a serious transition. I started the Stranded Phase 4.5 years ago with the intention of owning the fact that I was an entrepreneur by accident. Y'all, your girl had 2-3 failed attempts at entrepreneurship, tried my hardest, but for some reason, it just wasn't my thing. Or at the time, it felt like it wasn't my thing. I had tried mom blogging, I had tried one-on-one coaching, and nothing ever felt, it felt like I was just turning my wheels. And starting a podcast agency, starting a personal brand, all really happened by accident. And so the Stranded Phase was my attempt to not only own some of my hardest moments and own them raw, real, and authentic in front of you guys, because I think that's the most important part, but it was to interview other successful people and say, okay, I see your accolades. I can see everything that everyone else sees on Instagram, but I want to know what happens to you, mind, body, spirit, when you're crying in the car. I want to know what happens when you can't pay your staff. I want to know what happens when you deal with a divorce, a heartbreak, a form of rejection, something that's really hard and heavy, because we see so many wins online and all this quick, fast success and gratitude, but we don't see what happens behind the scenes. And I know for a fact, fast forward 4 years later, you guys get to see a lot of wins and me experiencing personally more than I could have ever conceptualized, which is why I always say I'm an entrepreneur by accident. But I still don't think I've shown as hard as this, how hard this truly was. And so you guys got to join me in embracing my stuck. Join me in embracing what was supposed to be some of the hardest times along this journey, entrepreneurial, personal, relationship-wise, financially. That was always the purpose of the Stranded Phase, is as we're building our finances, we learn tough lessons. As we build our career, we learn hard lessons. And if you're anything like me, somehow, some way, I seem to learn shit the hard way. No offense, but God likes my ass whoopings tough because he knows how hard-headed I am. So I always feel like it's like my straightening phase. Like, I don't just get, someone asked me the other day, like, what was the biggest transitional truth you had and how did it change your life forever? And I was like, your girl gets a new truth every season. Like, for some reason, I like these lessons the hard way. I don't know why. And it's funny that I came out with the Stranded Phase in 2018 because it's almost, it carried all of us for a while. I took you guys on the journey. We started the Stranded Phase when I started my entrepreneurial journey. When I was making my first year, I made barely $40,000 and it cost me almost as much to run the business. To the second year, 2019, you guys were there when I quit my job and got engaged. 2020, when I built my business, I got some really big clients. We hit the 1 million mark when it came to podcast downloads inside my agency, accumulated from all the hosts. And I learned everything the hard way. And I don't know if I ever really got a chance to share that, but as a CEO, a visionary, I learned everything the hard way. I held every position inside my agency. I learned how to hire, fire, stretch money long, create things, learn things, and scale. And that was the year that I really learned that the things that you build become a liability. Like, the things that got you where you are become a liability at scale. So all those skills that you have and I have as a hustler, as a A1 survivor, right? Because we know how to get it. We made it this far. Those don't work when it comes to scale. And so 2020 was the year I learned that. And then I took you guys on that journey where I hired high performance coaches, where I tried to scale my business. I was on this mission at the time. I was going to make $500,000. I brought, and that was the year I networked the hell out of networking. Like, your girl was networking. Like, I learned the craft of like, go show your face, show up to these conferences, meet new people, stretch yourself. And how do you become a name in this industry? And then that's what I set out to do in 2021. 2021, finally, a goal got really clear for me because, like I said, your girl's an entrepreneur by accident. So I set out on a mission. Finally, 2021, I had a clear goal. Everybody said, what are you doing with this agency? What are you doing with Insta Podcast? And what are you doing with the Stranded Phase? And I said, there was 2 goals in 2021. I said, I want the Stranded Phase to not only change lives, to not only be a funnel to get women to innovative income, but I want the Stranded Phase to impact hundreds and thousands of lives. We had over 100,000 downloads at that point. And I said, I just want women to embrace their stuck, and I want this podcast to top the charts regularly. And then for my Insta Podcast agency, my podcast and media agency, I said, all I want is when an entrepreneur, a big name, someone with an incredible brand that's really built a name for themselves, decides they want to add a podcast channel, a way to share their message in their voice, long form audio and video, and really build authority and evidence behind their brand. When they say that out loud, whether they be at a conference, in a mastermind, or anywhere, what's followed by that is Jessica Hurley. I want someone to say, call Jessica Hurley. That was my mission in 2021. And then life was like, skirt. Because as you guys know, I took you on my next transition, my next Stranded Phase, which was a transition out of a long-term relationship with the father of my son. So many great lessons learned from that. And that was when the Stranded Phase went viral, which, by the way, just a gentle reminder, sometimes you ask God for something, and it was that my podcast would go viral and it would top the charts, and it did. But it did by me sharing my most transitional, toughest season of my life. And I want to thank you guys for that, because the only reason I did that was 2 reasons. I actually fell off the map for about 7 weeks. I couldn't talk. And as that transition started, and there were 2 things that happened that made me decide I was going to share that journey. One was my former partner. He called me and said, "You're not showing up, and this is not like you. What's going on?" And I said, "I don't know what to say. I don't have anything to say." And he said, "Well, omission is as good as lying for you. When you don't know how to share, when you don't know how to talk, you become silent. When you don't know what to say, and when you become silent, you're not yourself. And we both know when you talk and when you speak and when you're able to put words to the feelings that you have, you help other people. So even though this is the default to me, share it. Share it. Just share it. Share what you're going through, because you're not the only one." And while I was on the fence about that, you guys started to reach out to me, and you said, "Where are you? What's going on? I am waiting on the next episode. I've never seen you disappear like this. Are you okay? What's happening?" And I made the decision to share the transitional journey that I was on, because it was the hardest thing I'd ever experienced. And I made one conscious decision in the midst of that pain that I said, all right, I'm firing all my business coaches. And I did. I had 2 business coaches at the time. I called them both up. I fired them or let them go, and said, I'm going to hire all the healers. I don't care if I have to hire a basketball team of healers, because I'm going to do this right. Because what I can do, what I know how to do well, is work. I could hustle my way through this pain. That's what any of us can do. That is the easiest thing for us to do. But I knew I was about to go through my most transformative phase ever. And I said, what I don't want to do is bury this, hustle through it, and wake up in 6 years and be in the same situation, in the same problem, in a similar relationship. No offense to my former situation, but I knew a lot of it was based on my experiences, my past trauma, my past environment. And I said, I'm not going to do that again. I want love. I love love. So I have to fix this now. And so I went on that journey, and I decided to take you guys with me, and be careful what you ask God for, because the Stranded Phase podcast went viral and charted numerous times during that 6-month season where I brought on my therapist, my mentors, a lot of people that I was learning from during that time, because I dove off the deep end. I completely took 10 steps back from entrepreneurship. If I was honest, my business was surviving at best, because I was healing. I was working so hard to dig deep, and some days I couldn't get out of bed. And I was just doing my best to surround myself with the right people that could fill my cup, help me understand me, who I was, why I'd made the decisions I'd made leading up to this, and just really get to me at my core, because I said, coming out of this, I got to be a different person. And lo and behold, your girl was. Definitely been a journey the last year and a half. And so that was 2021. That was basically all of my 2021. I took you guys on that journey. I moved. I moved into the place of my dreams that I never even knew that I wanted. Got a condo with floor to ceiling windows. Charted the journey of single motherhood. And that's not to say that, my son's dad wasn't present, but I charted the journey of doing this alone, which was something I felt like I had never signed up for. I navigated dealing with emotions that I wasn't ready for, anger, sadness, some depression, unworthiness, lack of confidence, a lot of unwanted things. So to say your girl wasn't in a stranded phase would be an understatement. I was navigating being broken and being a boss all at the same time. And it was wild. It took a lot out of me. So much so that I almost learned to operate that way. I literally could do 3 therapy sessions in a week and work really hard and hustle and still have energy left. It was wild. And that was 2021. And now fast forward to 2022. And we're going to talk about some of this on this new show, some of the things that I learned about myself, because I really want you guys to become wealthy in yourselves, self-enrichment, rich in self, and just understanding yourself. The more you understand about yourself and your truth, the more confident you'll become. So I say all of that about some of my darkest moments because I can now say confidently in 2022, I am the most confident version of myself that I've ever been. I am the most seen I've ever been. Like, I see me. I am the most clear, and not that my vision's always clear, but I trust where I'm going. I trust everything that has happened to me. I kid you not when they say God will laugh at your plans, because trust me, I've filled the victim role, and so have you. My therapist has told me that my map is victimization. I have woe is me, why God, why not? I have why'd the hell out of God. Like, why? To only find myself in a place now where I'm like, had I left this up to me? Had I left this vision up to me? Your girl had no vision board anywhere that had this on it. There was no, it's like paint the vision, put the vision board up, have it on your phone. No. I didn't have a condo with floor to ceiling windows. I didn't have a multiple 6-figure business. I didn't have that I was going to work with all these major entrepreneurs that are light years ahead of me that would help me 10x my manifestation and collapse time in my business tenfold. I didn't have any of that anywhere. Yet those are the things that have come to me through this experience, because God's plan is so much bigger than mine. It's so much bigger than mine. I couldn't conceptualize what he had for me. He had to save me from me. He had to get me out of my own way. It's just a few years ago, I was subscribed to a channel that he exposed me to, that he knew that I could understand. And loyal and loving to a fault, your girl would have stayed in all those situations and poured into other people and poured into other things before I poured into myself. And 2021 was a year that taught me that the moment that you decide that you're going to put all of the energy that you put into other people, spending all your time trying to prove that you are worthy of friendship, worthy of being exclusive to, worthy of loyalty, worthy of love, worthy of being valued, and you take that energy and you pour it into yourself, you will 10x everything you touch. The things that I have seen come of my life, as I said, I could not conceptualize. And so 2022 has been the year that my lessons, I always say, God likes my lessons on 10 speed. So people will wake up. Some people will wake up at 70 and have a handful of lessons that they learned over their lifetime. I feel like God likes teaching me mine in like a 3-week span. Because he's like, girl, you got stuff to do. So let's get through this. Let's get through this. And I know I'm going to have to do it a couple times for you to learn and get it right. And 2022 has been the year where I've seen a lot of these things come to life. And it's almost like life just kind of rolled out the red carpet and said, if you just implement everything that you've learned, if you can get past your hard-headedness and embrace everything that you've been through and acknowledge this beautiful, ugly, painful, eventful, immaculate, magical transition that you've been through. Yes, you died to self. The ego version of you has died. You have let that version of you go, but the new woman that is emerging, we rolling out the red carpet for her. She got space. She's taking up space. She has impact to create. She will walk with her head held high. She will understand that she is worthy and valuable and has a very impactful purpose on this earth. And she will walk in it without fear. And so when I turned 33 in 2022 this year, I've always had a theme for the year. I've always had a theme word. And somebody said, what is the theme for 33? And without a doubt, I heard the phrase, rich in real life. Rich in real life. And this concept means so many things to me beyond financially wealthy. It means rich in well-being, rich in assets, of course, so that we can create the freedom and the time and the comfort. But it means rich in community, rich in connection, rich in network. I mean, oh my God, rich in health, rich in family, rich in opportunity, rich in self, enriched in self. So you understand yourself so well that your truth is so clear that no one else or nothing else can tell you, can steer you away from what that is or what that can be. You are affirming yourself. Like, I have learned so much about myself that I don't think anyone could beat me off this path right now. Like, no pain, no trauma, no betrayal, no purposely trying to take me off my path could work. It could not work. Because I'm so crystal clear on why I've been through what I've been through. I'm so crystal clear on where I'm going. I'm so crystal clear on every connection has had a greater purpose to the vision that I can't see, that I'm like, God, let me be rich in all these things, because let me bow down to the vision you have for me, because mine is not big enough. Mine is small to you. Mine is this in comparison to what you have for me. And when I try to do it on my own, I fall so short. So I learned last year to just surrender to what he has for me so that in 2022, I can be rich in real life. And the other thing that meant to me was I learned so much last year about real presence and joy. Real presence and joy. If you sit down and write down every moment that you've ever smiled, you and I could write down 50, 60 things right now. I smile when I get coffee in the morning. I smile when I'm walking and I can't believe that this is my life and I get to walk along the water and experience nature like intimately every morning because of the location and the environment that I've created for myself. I smile when I get off a call where I'm helping an incredible entrepreneur that's already created an immaculate business for themselves really uncover their message in a way that they feel like they're really creating authority and evidence behind their brand. I smile when my son has an aha moment. I smile when I meet someone new and I'm like, this is a genuine connection. This is powerful. This is someone that we can really exchange value. I smile at the smallest moments. I smile when I walk into my home and it smells good. I smile when I wake up and I can walk out on my balcony and see the sunrise. I smile when I can put my bare feet in the sand or the grass, or I can be grounded somewhere. I smile when I have time to read. I smile when I make coffee in my home in the morning. I smile when I can cook for my son. When you write all these things down and you realize that very little of them have anything to do with business and more to do with progress, self-enrichment, the journey, personal growth, connection, collaboration, like creation, like creativity. You realize that you have everything that you need to be rich in real life. It's just about simply changing your perspective. And I know this is so simply put, but when I was able to create immense gratitude around all these things and understand that everything that makes me happy, truly building a life by design, I already have. It was just about acknowledging that, having immense gratitude for that, and then building my business around that, around impact, around the life that I love, around the things that bring me joy. I'm already rich in real life. I'm already rich in real life. And then guess what? They're not lying, y'all, when they say the money will come. The money will come. And so rich, being as it sounds, is so very little to do with what the term actually may mean to you. To me, I want to be rich in real life. I want to be rich in assets, of course, because I want legacy. I want to leave things to my son. I want to eventually walk away from all of this and live a life of freedom. Absolutely. I want to be rich in assets. I want my bank account to be thick too, y'all. I want that too. But I know that will come when I'm rich in opportunity, when I'm rich in network, when I'm rich in connections. I've had some of the most incredible connections in 2022. I can't make this shit up. I can't believe that God is inviting these people into my life. I want to be rich in peace, rich in presence, rich in well-being, rich in health, rich in the beautiful things that life already has to offer us. And so, if you're listening to this episode, welcome to the transition, because like I said, if you're new or if you've been here for a while, we're not stranded anymore. Been there, done that. Letting that shit go. Doesn't mean we're not going to have some hard times. Doesn't mean we're not going to be stuck every once in a while. Doesn't mean that bad shit's not going to happen. Means that you handle it differently. Tell me yes or no. I don't know about y'all, but crazy stuff still happens. It just doesn't affect me as much anymore. And it's not that I'm so resilient or that I'm numb. I'm just like, girl, you're 33 years old. You've been through all that. You're not homeless yet. You didn't die. You've been through some things, but they all brought you beautiful lessons and you grew from it. So now I can look at some of these things differently. They're invitations, they're lessons, they're opportunities for growth. And so while we know how to embrace our stuck, we do. It just means something. It just means it's an invitation to grow, a lesson to catch something, an opportunity to change. We're not stranded anymore. We're not inviting that into our life. We are transitioning stage left, and we are inviting ourselves to be rich in real life, rich in all the things that bring us real joy, and embracing the opportunity that will create for us to be truly rich, truly wealthy, truly rich in well-being, rich in real life. So welcome to the transition. Welcome to the new podcast. Welcome to the new concept. And welcome to my new life. rich in real life.